Hey everyone, welcome back to my Halloween edition reviews, number 2. Uh, Sorry if you can't hear me, I've got a sore throat and very, very bad cotton mouth. But it's 8:11 p.m. where I'm at, so why not finally get around to doing this film? It's one of my favorites, but I will say the acting in it sucked. The killer itself, the guy who plays the killer did a really cool job. This is a film written by a man by the name of Marcus Koch or Koch, whatever you want to say. I think it's Koch, Koch. The film I'm reviewing is 100 Tears. Now, this is a burnt copy, so there's really nothing much to the disc. But Uh, as you've seen with my Halloween edition review videos, part 2, I've been putting up the covers for the movie, so I will put the cover up for this one. Uh, my uncle did not like this movie. He has no reason to like this movie other than the gore. But the story is very, very bland. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the movie, but it's not without its flaws. Uh, the story, for example, there pretty much isn't any story. Uh, we've got these two tabloid newspaper writers, and they're trying to find like a real story. They usually make up stories like the Loch Ness monster, stuff like that, for newspaper articles. But uh, the woman, I think her name, the character's name is Jenna, not Jenna Jameson, but Jenna, and Mark. Jenna and Mark. I think that's actually the guy's real name. But anyways, they decide to do an article over the teardrop killer, hence the name 100 Tears. Uh, when he kills somebody, he leaves like pretty much his mark, which is like a big teardrop, really, really big, on the wall, and it's pretty much blood, and he turns it into the shape of a teardrop. The killer does not talk, and for those who haven't seen this, I'll tell you right now, uh, this is a killer clown movie where you're like, holy shit, this is probably the goriest, not the goriest film I've ever seen, but the goriest killer clown movie. Um, would I put this in my top 10? No, I wouldn't. I'd put it in my top 20, but not my top 10. It probably gets out of my feelings for the film. Like, I love the film, and I don't hate it. I actually love it. But the only thing that ruins it for me is the acting. Like we've got this little guy. Sorry if I offend anybody who has this condition. Like I'm not making fun of you, but anyways, this little guy who works at a circus ends up getting hunted down by the two newspaper reporters, and what happens is they finally catch him, and they want to ask the guy because the guy knows who the killer is. And the name of the killer is Gertie the Clown. And the guy, Mark, sorry, I had to itch my nose. Uh, the guy who plays the male role, like the Mail news reporter, tabloid reporter, uh, is actually one of the directors slash producers. Uh, I will eventually be able to uh, get my printer to work to where it will print out like the cover, it'll show the front and the back. But until that happens, I just have a blank case that says 100 Tears on it. I saw this movie back around 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. And I already knew what I was getting into, but I didn't realize that the acting would be this bad. But give it a better storyline, give it more like oomph. Not with the gore. The gore in it is excellent. But on some people's TVs, the movie is pretty dark, not like darkly humored, even though if you count killing as humor, I guess you can call it dark humor, but this movie, the picture is just plain dark on some TVs. Like my TV, it looks really, really, really dark when I'm watching it, but the TV in the living room, it works perfectly. Like I can see what's going on, and uh, there is kind of torturous parts in this movie, but uh, it's not to where it's like Hostel or anything like that. This movie beats the hell out of Hostel, by the way. I'm not a fan of Hostel. I've seen all three films, and I still can say I am not a fan. Why I keep on watching the films is beyond me. But 100 Tears, it's an underground classic, as some people call it, like an indie classic. Um, this is one of those classics that doesn't need a sequel, or I don't even want a sequel to this because it ended perfectly to me. We've also got the introduction of this one girl. She's kind of emo, like she cuts herself in the stomach and whatnot. Uh, and she has sex with random guys, and she kills them. And the name of this woman, her real name, the actress playing her, her name is Rain Brown. Uh, Horror Happy Hour, they like her acting, and I'm like, maybe. Not really loving it, not really hating it, but yeah, kind of in the middle. But then we get to the kills. Our first kills are like 2 to 3 minutes into the movie, and Gertie the clown is one big ass motherfucker. Like he's fat, uh, and he wears this clown outfit. Of course, he's a clown, so he's got to wear the outfit. Uh, but every time he swings his giant meat cleaver, and it is giant, like if you've seen the cover before, you'll realize how giant it is, and that came out wrong. But when he lifts it up, his shirt ends up coming up, and you can see his belly, and I'm like, I don't really want to see the killer's belly, but all right. Uh, and he just mauls right through this rehab home, uh, rehabilitation center. He kills a woman in a wheelchair. Uh, he kills pretty much one of the custodians uh, by stepping on his head. Like Just pretend this is my foot and pretend this is the head. Crushes it. And I'm just like, ooh, shit. Um, I like the movie. Well, I love the movie for what it is. But I'm going to give it a fair score or rating. Because I think that anybody should at least watch it once to tell me what they think. Um, I love the film for its trying to be uh, different from the other Killer Clown movies because whenever we have a Killer Clown movie, they've got one-liners, they've got comedic value to it, but this one is not funny, is not just daring or difficult to find because he's everywhere. Like everywhere you see Gertie the Clown in several different places, and I'm like, well, he isn't Jason Voorhees because he's not immortal, and the further the movie goes on, you know that this is just a human being going out there and killing people at random. Uh, and there's a reason why he's killing, because he's been pushed over the edge when he used to work at a circus. And here's what I mean by a very bland story. There's the little guy ends up telling the tabloid reporters about Luther, aka Gertie the Clown. Uh, he was in love with Gertie the Clown was in love with uh, one of the women who worked at the circus, but the woman's friend and the strong man didn't like it, and I think her name's Michelle in the movie, not her real name. Uh, I think her name's Michelle. Ends up lying to the strong man, saying that Gertie was raping the girl he likes. Gertie was raping the girl. Uh, well, not girl, woman. So sorry if I'm confusing people. So what is he, like a child molester or something? No, by girl I mean woman. And she looks to be around in the flashback. She looks to be around 27, 28. It doesn't give a year though. Um, and here's what I'm talking about with the bland story. Uh, any person in their right mind could see if the woman is being raped. So the strong man goes over, beats the shit out of Luther, aka Gertie the Clown, and pretty much Gertie's had enough, and he starts going on a killing spree, uh, killing everybody in his path. And I forget how the strong man dies. I think it's just with the meat cleaver. Uh, the lying bitch who lied about her friend being raped, she gets it good too. Uh, one of the deaths, uh, we see a guy get his stomach cut open and his intestines uh, coming out. And this movie is before Hatchet. Uh, Actually, it came out the same year, but uh, but this came out before Hatchet. I think it came out March 2007. It's not a theater release. If you haven't gotten that already, it's been shown at festivals. So if you want to say that, go right ahead. It's been shown at I think the Tribeca Film Festival. I'm not positive, but this movie, it's a love-hate relationship. I love that it's trying to be different with the Killer Clowns stories, like we usually see with Killer Clowns. They have one-liners and whatnot. Hell, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they didn't even really talk, but they were still pretty funny. But this clown isn't funny. It's actually a clown that creeps me out. Doesn't make me go, oh my god, oh my god. Anyways, uh, out of 10 hatchets, I'd probably give it about a 6. Like I said, I'm gonna give it a fair rating. Because, whereas I love the film, it does have its flaws. But I think people out there should see the movie if you're into independent horror films. It's a fuckload better than Human Centipede. That worthless piece of shit can go suck a dick. If you like the film, that's cool. But I'm not a big fan of the Human Centipede series. I saw the first one and that was enough for me. I'm like, right as the movie ended, I was like, switch! And I turned to some cartoons. Yeah, I like cartoons. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely love the 90s stuff. Uh, but is this buy, rent, or pass? If you love gore, it's a buy. If you don't like bland stories, a rent. And if you don't like clowns, pass. It all depends, because this could go uh, 3 out of 3 ways. Either you like it, you hate it, or it just annoys you. Uh, just don't watch it. I am not going to put a link to the trailer down below because that pretty much spoils all the deaths in the film. This has a body count of 31 people. Yeah, that's a pretty high body count. But it's not as gory as, say, Dead Alive. Which, that, by the way, is such a good movie. I'd like to get that on Blu-ray someday. But anyways, that's my review over 100 Tears, 6 out of 10 hatchets. Pick it up if you're a fan of Killer Clown movies. But don't be expecting him to talk with one-liners and whatnot, because he doesn't talk at all. And when he kills people, he has the big meat cleaver, and he smiles while he does it. And there's this one death where a guy's watching TV, and the meat cleaver just comes down and splits his head wide open. The best thing about the movie is the gore, but I tried following the story, and I was like, it's not a good story, but it's not a great story. It's not a bad story, but it's kind of an okay story. Like, they needed something to go around this movie. They had to make some kind of plot. But the final 2 scenes of the film are really badass. Uh, the way the last couple people die is really cool. Like, the last person to die, uh, I'm not gonna name names, but when he or she dies, I know it's a, I know it's a, I'm not going to spoil the gender for those who haven't seen it, but uh, the way she dies, he or she, um, is pretty much a very cliche kind of way to die. But anyways, that's my review over 100 Tears. If they do make a 200 Tears, I'm gonna be like, Well, this better have better acting. It, when it comes to low budget films, bad acting is a given with it, but the acting in this makes other low budget films sound like gold mines full of great actors and whatnot. Because acting in this, you'd think that the actors and actresses got paid $5 each. I'm not making fun of you, Marcus, Coke or Cock, whatever your name is. Kosh, maybe. Uh, I just think this is a one movie kind of thing. Like, it only needs one movie. It doesn't need a series. It it ended with no sequel bait ending, so that was good. And like I said, it's definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of gore and killer clowns. But like I said, don't be expecting one-liners and just funny shit coming out of their mouths 24/7. So, anyways, I'm out. My mouth is really dry. And this is Psychopathic One signing off. Catch y'all tomorrow.